Have you ever walked into a room during a major tournament and felt like you've missed the memo on a global religion? The face paint, the synchronized groans, the sudden, inexplicable bursts of joy over a ball hitting a net. It's a powerful cultural force. But while millions are glued to the screen, there is a significant portion of the population watching from the sidelines of the sidelines. These are the football agnostics. What drives the psychology of someone who remains completely indifferent to the world's most popular sport? Is it a lack of tribal instinct, a different approach to entertainment, or perhaps a deeper psychological resistance to collective hysteria? Today, we're peeling back the turf to understand the minds of those who don't watch football. To understand why some don't watch, we first have to understand why most people do. Humans are biologically wired for tribalism. In our evolutionary past, belonging to a group wasn't just a social preference, it was a survival strategy. Football offers a modern, safe outlet for this us versus them mentality. It provides an instant community, a shared language, and a clear set of heroes and villains. When a fan says, "We won," they aren't just being hyperbolic. Neuropsychological studies show that when a person's team wins, their brain releases a surge of dopamine and testosterone. They are literally experiencing a biological reward as if they were the ones on the field. For the non-viewer, this feedback loop simply doesn't exist. The we is just they, and the game remains a series of disconnected physical movements rather than a narrative of personal triumph. For many who opt out, the issue is one of sensory and cognitive processing. Football is a high-stimulus environment, loud commentary, flashing advertisements, and the constant roar of the crowd. For an introvert or someone with high sensory sensitivity, this can be draining rather than energizing. Beyond the noise, there is the question of the narrative. Football fans see a 90-minute game as a Shakespearean drama. They see the history of the rivalry, the redemption arc of a struggling striker, and the tactical chess match of the managers. To a non-fan, those layers are invisible. They see 22 people chasing a ball for an hour and a half, often ending in a 0-0 draw. Psychologically, if you cannot find a hook or a story within the data, your brain naturally filters it out as noise. There is also a psychological element of anti-conformity at play. In cultures where football is a dominant social pillar, think the UK, Brazil, or Germany, choosing not to watch is a quiet act of rebellion. Some people possess a personality trait known as low need for affiliation. They don't feel the psychological urge to join the crowd or participate in water cooler talk. For these individuals, the pressure to care about a match can actually create a reactance effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where people feel their freedom of choice is being threatened, leading them to adopt the opposite view or behavior. The more society says you have to see this game, the more their brain says, no, I really don't. We often frame not watching football as a void, but it's actually an exchange. If the average fan spends 6 hours a week watching games and analysis, the non-fan is reclaiming over 300 hours a year. Psychologically, these individuals often prioritize active engagement over passive consumption. They might prefer activities where they are the protagonist: coding, gardening, playing an instrument, or hiking. For them, the thrill of personal achievement outweighs the reflected glory of a professional athlete's success. They aren't missing out. They are simply investing their cognitive energy into different arenas. Living as a non-fan isn't always easy. There is a genuine social cost. Sports serve as a social lubricant, an easy, safe topic to discuss with strangers or colleagues. When you opt out, you lose that social currency. However, this often leads non-fans to develop deeper, more niche interests. They tend to seek out communities based on shared values or specific hobbies, rather than broad geographic or nationalistic identity. This can lead to a more curated and intentional social life, even if it feels a bit lonely during the World Cup final. Ultimately, the psychology of the non-football watcher isn't about a lack of anything. It's a testament to the diversity of the human experience.
While football provides a beautiful, rhythmic escape for billions, the non-fans remind us that there are infinite ways to find meaning, excitement, and community. Whether you're screaming at the TV or quietly reading a book in the other room, our brains are all just looking for the same thing: a sense of belonging and a story worth following. For some, that story just happens to take place somewhere other than a pitch.